Okay, aloha everybody. Thank you for coming to this effective time management and study hacks workshop. Today, who's here today? So there's Kim Martinson from Maui College. My name is Tomoko Skinner from Hawaii Community College, and we have Bunty Clark from Kapiʻolani Community College, and we are the career specialists at our campuses. Okay, so thank you for coming. And before we start, type in the chat box your home campus, your major, and what's one word that describes your current goal. Okay, type in the chat box. Your home campus, your major, and what's one word that describes your current goal. Okay, if you can type in the chat box. Aloha. Home campus KCC, UH Maui, free time or the lack of it. KCC, thank you for coming. Yeah, what's one word that describes your current goal? Can be one word. Okay, Hilo IT, completion. Oh, nice, I like it. UH Manoa, okay, thank you. Busy. Aloha. Hawaiian Studies at KCC, looking to get my AA. Okay. Efficiency. Palamanui. Mahalo from joining from Palamanui. Okay, great. Thank you so much, everybody. Okay. UH Maui College. Aloha. Okay, so let's take a moment to reflect. Why are you here? Why did you decide to go to college? Why are you taking these classes? So understanding your why is crucial. It's your fuel, your motivation, and your purpose. And without it, it's like trying to drive a car with no gas and you won't get far. And trust me, I did that. I did that recently. So know your why. Your why gives you the direction and help so you push through challenges. So ask yourself honestly, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And when you have clarity on your why, it becomes easier to stay focused and navigate your journey towards success. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pass it off to Kim.
Okay, so 80% of success is showing up. Quote from Woody Allen. So if 80% of success is showing up, then 20% is following up. Okay, so first we're going to start with time management foundation. And we're going to start by talking about goal setting, the Pomodoro effect or technique, and the Eisenhower matrix. So first we have goal setting. So in order to effectively manage time and live a balanced life, you must be aware of your goals. It is important that you have goals because they provide you direction. And then working towards a goal will help focus your energy and reduce stress that comes with not having a purpose. Okay. So the first technique we're going to talk about is the Pomodoro technique. And now this was invented in the 1980s by Francesco Cirillo. And he was a student. And like many students overwhelmed with assignments and intense study schedules, Cirillo struggled to complete tasks without feeling burnt out. So he believed that any progress is good progress. And he challenged himself to just 10 minutes of focus time. So to commit to this challenge, he used a tomato-shaped kitchen timer, and the Pomodoro technique was born. So even though Cirillo went on to write like a 160-page book on the technique, what prompts people to try this method is its simplicity. So how does this work? So in here we have a little picture and the tomato timer. And I'm going to walk you through the basic steps to start applying the technique that you could actually start using today. So first, you want to grab your to-do list or your task and a timer. And this can be any timer. A lot of us have it on our cell phones, right? So you want to have a timer and your task. And you're going to set your timer for 25 minutes. Now, in this 25 minutes, you're going to focus on one single task until that timer rings. And then when the timer rings, you want to end the session. You can mark off one Pomodoro and then record what you've completed, what you've learned. And then enjoy a nice 5-minute break. And then once that 5-minute break is over, you're going to go back and reset your timer for 25 minutes and repeat the process. And you're going to do this for about 4 Pomodoros, which is about 100 minutes. And then after the 4, you want to take a more rested break. So maybe 15 to 30 minutes. And the great thing about this method is it's completely adaptable. And you don't have to stick to 25-minute intervals. You can always customize this to fit your individual needs. So whether this is like shorter bursts for maybe more challenging tasks, or longer bursts if you need to focus on like deeper work, right? So if you want to give yourself more time, you can do that as well. But the main thing is to focus on one task. Okay, the other technique we have is the Eisenhower matrix. Now, this matrix involves being effective and efficient. So you want to prioritize your tasks based on importance rather than urgency. And the urgent important matrix allows, which is otherwise known as the Eisenhower principle, organizes tasks into 4 categories. So as you can kind of see here, it's broken into 4 quadrants or 4 boxes. And so the first one is urgent and important, which is your upper left. Now, these tasks that you're going to put in here require immediate action and they have deadlines. So you want to be aware of that. So that's going to go into your upper left. And then next is your important but not urgent, and that's going to go in your upper right. Now, these tasks are important for long-term success, but don't require immediate action. And then next is urgent but not important, and this is your bottom left. And you want to manage these tasks by either delaying them, delegating, or just rejecting the request. So like that, you can say no. Like what is it? The happy no, where you don't have to do it. And then the next quadrant is not urgent and not important. And this is your bottom right. Now, you want to kind of avoid these distractions. These are kind of trivial interruptions that you might get, and they don't contribute to your goals. So these are things you can actually take off, such as like scrolling your phone, text messaging and all that other stuff. So hopefully you can, utilize this matrix for school, right? If you have like your to-do list, you can put that into the matrix and kind of help you gauge on what you're going to need to work on and keep you focused and maybe help take away some of the anxiety of feeling overwhelmed. And it'll help you decide and prioritize your tasks based on urgency and importance. And then also sorting out the less urgent, unimportant tasks that could either be, again, delegated or you don't have to do it all. Okay, on to you, Monty.
Thank you. So we're going to take a little bit more, a closer look at goal setting and then planning to actually achieve those goals. So as was mentioned, I think Kim mentioned it, that the goal setting is key to managing time, or maybe it was Tomoko, managing time and living a balanced life. Okay, why? Because the process of goal setting makes you actually think about what's important to you. This is also a way to create a vision, like an overall picture for your life, which is a fancy way to say you're going to really figure out what it is you want out of life or really any given situation. Now, think about it. Athletes often envision a race or a sporting event before they start. Entrepreneurs envision the company that they want to build. A lot of ways to help see some of the details you may have missed earlier is to use an envisioning technique. And if you Google creating a personal vision statement, you'll get all kinds of great techniques on how to do this. But having a vision provides the direction, and the goals, they're like the mile markers along the way to achieve that vision. Goals can be personal, like things you want to accomplish, or they can be mandated, like completing a homework assignment on time, or hopefully when we get through this time management, you'll be wanting to getting these things done a little early. So let's take it a good way to set goals. We're going to use something called the SMART method and how to achieve them through weekly and daily planning and using time batching. So SMART goals, it's an acronym, SMART. It's a convenient acronym for a set of criteria that a goal should have in order for it to be accomplished. The strategy will focus your attention on what is important and a clear finish line. Having a clear deadline and definition of what you want to accomplish is incredibly important in setting goals, because if you don't know if you've completed the goal, how are you gonna know when to stop? Okay, so the S for the SMART goals is specific. Now, a vision will give you a general outlook of where you want to go, but to accomplish this, You want to get specific about the goals, the mile markers that are along the way. Specific goals answer the questions of who, what, when, where, why, and how. And you got to get as specific as possible. Goals should also be measurable, and that's the M. If you can't measure something, how do you know if you're making any progress on it? Okay. Goals must be tracked according to time, money, and most importantly, results. So again, a clear definition of accomplishment is part of the measurement process, right? Knowing when this thing is going to end. The A stands for attainable. Now, a goal which cannot be met is not necessarily a goal. It's an ideal. Like in this, I want to be a better person. All right. That sounds like a goal, but it's really just a hopeful wish. Unless you start breaking it down into what is it you can do every day or over a period of time to become a better person. So goals should be attainable, breaking it down into manageable steps that are aligned with achievable resources. Think of it as action steps. Okay. The R is for relevant and realistic. Now, you got to think, is this goal that you're doing, is it just something that's come up, or is it actually connected to your overall vision? Now, a goal also may be possible, but you might not have the right resources or the right amount of time or even the people that you need to help you make it happen. So make sure it's relevant and realistic. And then timed. All goals need to have need to be accomplished within a given time frame. Deadlines deadlines may indeed be missed, and that's okay. Things happen. But without any timetable, there's no sense of urgency and therefore no reason to just not put it off later. Okay. Each goal and each thing is, like I said, a mile marker. It should lead you to the next step in achieving your overall vision. Now, a great way to do this is through planning, weekly and then daily planning. Calling? A to-do list is one of the most powerful life management tools that there is. And best of all, it's easy and inexpensive to use. It can be customized for home or work, and it can be used by individuals or groups. So don't confuse a to-do list with just doing daily errands. A to-do list is the best way to break down large, complicated projects and goals into smaller actions, which then actually help you accomplish the goal, the overall vision. A to-do list is just a list of things you have to do, right? So that means basically anything and anything can be listed on this. So you got to be careful. Remember to be realistic, keep it relevant, and keep it attainable within the time frame that you've allocated. Start by writing down all of the tasks that you need to complete. And if it's a large task, break it down into smaller tasks and then plot that out. Maybe have weekly goal and then break that weekly goal down into daily tasks. Ideally, task or action steps should only take maybe 1 or 2 hours to complete. Okay. And a great way to keep track of this is with a calendar or a day planner. Now, to effectively manage your tasks, consolidate the reminders into a few lists and put that on a calendar that you regularly review. Okay, whether paper or electronic, I typically use a kind of a combo of both. But calendars and day planners are ideal for recording meetings, appointments, and deadlines, helping you structure your day and prioritizing your assignments. Promptly record important appointments, locations, and deadlines, and then enhance your calendar with reminders a day or so before the appointment or the deadline is due so that you have better organization. A well-utilized calendar or day planner is a crucial tool for time management, and it's an effective way to stay organized. Time batching. So once you've got this thing laid out in your day planner or calendar, you want to give it specific times, kind of like the Pomodoro effect. I go in half-hour increments or an hour. So time batching is a productivity system which enhances focus by grouping similar tasks and allocating dedicated time for uninterrupted completion. Unlike multitasking, it maintains workflow without distractions. It's beneficial for those especially that have difficulty with focus, or there's workplace disturbances like a roommate, or seeking productivity. Time batching is simple to implement. Start by organizing tasks into batches in your schedule, okay? Ensuring realistic time frames. For longer projects, consider dividing them up into smaller batches with breaks for renewal, similar to the Pomodoro effect again. Work on one task at a time, block out everything else, set a set amount of time, and then take a break afterwards. By following this on a regular basis, you'll be amazed at what you get achieved. And now to Tomoko.
Hey, so let's talk about study strategies. So active learning is a method for students to engage in learning by thinking, discussing, investigating, and creating. And students can practice this in class or in study groups. And another one is spaced repetition. This is a method of reviewing material at systematic intervals at the beginning of the learning process, and then the intervals are spaced closely together. So the space part of spaced repetition refers to the gaps of time in between study sessions. You might review information right after school and then actively recall the information in a few hours, a few days, then a few weeks later. And for me, when I'm memorizing a chant or a mele, I like to memorize it first and then use my driving time to kind of go through the words. Okay, so then we're going to talk about this Feynman technique. So this is a study method that helps people understand and memorize complex topics. So it was developed by Nobel Prize winning physicist Richard Feynman. So the steps are, number one, pick and study a topic. So choose a topic and study it. And then step two, teach. So you're going to explain the topic to someone who doesn't know it well, like a child, or it can be your classmate. It can be your kupuna or parent if they want to listen to your teaching. And then number three, step three. So identify any areas where your knowledge is incomplete. So when you're teaching, you'll know which part you're missing. So fill in the gaps. And number four, step four, go back to the textbook and then rewrite your explanation using simpler terms or analogy. And then the benefits for this technique is that it helps you understand the meaning of facts rather than just memorizing them. It helps you actively engage with the material and reinforce your understanding. It can also help you develop a deeper and longer lasting understanding of a subject. Okay. So this is a big one, dealing with distractions. So to boost productivity, create a distraction-free workspace by addressing common distractions. So one would be noise. So shut your door and use headphones with white noise. That might help. And also talkative friends or coworkers. Politely decline gossip and use headphones to signal focus. And another one, a big one, is smartphones. Use the do not disturb mode or place your phone elsewhere. Social media, block websites to avoid distractions, or put your phone in a drawer until you're finished. So out of sight, out of mind. Email, set a specific times for checking email or your text messages. And hunger, keep healthy snacks nearby. No one works well when they're hungry. Okay. Okay, so another one. Oh, this is you, Kim. Back to you, Kim.
Next, we're going to talk about effective note-taking techniques. Okay. We'll go next slide. Okay, so the first technique we're going to talk about is the Cornell note method. This first technique is created by Walter Pock, who's a professor at Cornell in the 50s. And this method is a note-taking system for taking and organizing and summarizing your notes. So this method typically results in better overall comprehension. So you can kind of see the picture here, and it's broken down into three columns. So the first one is the Q column. Now this will be on the left side of the page. You want to create a column that's about 2.5 inches wide. And you want to title this main ideas. And you want to use this to record your headings, key concepts, keywords in this area. And you also want to pose questions that you can answer later. So if things come up during your lecture or your reading that you're unsure about or you want to look into, this is where you would write it, into the Q column. And then next we have the note column. And this is to the right of that vertical line, and you want to make this about 6 inches wide. And this is used to hold all your detailed notes. And you want to label the section notes. And you want to record information either in bullet or outline form. And this is where you could also add diagrams or mind maps. And it's really important to write the information in your own words. So it'll help you retain that information better than if it's just like a transcription of what's being taught to you, right? So take it into your own words. And then last is the summary section. And now this is to the bottom of the page, and this is separated by a horizontal line. And it's about 1 to 2 inches tall. And this is where you're going to summarize major ideas and points. And now this is usually done at the end of the reading or the classroom session. And it's the last step to kind of after you review your notes and the material again, if necessary. So this is where you summarize what you just learned. And this is a very important step, and it helps you retain that information. So you do not want to skip this section. So that's one method. Okay, and then next we're going to talk about brain writing and mind mapping. And these are two additional tools to generate ideas. The first one is brain writing, and this is similar to brainstorming, and it can be used to generate new ideas, encourage creative problem solving, and develop different innovation solutions, maybe. But instead of getting people to discuss the ideas out loud, brain writing gets people to write them down and then share them. And a nice thing about this is it can be done anonymously. So if somebody's kind of shy and they don't like to always like say their ideas out loud, this is giving them an opportunity to write it down and then you share it at the end. So if you're using this online, you can utilize like whiteboards from like Canva, or if you're in person, again, you can utilize Post-it notes and then just like post them on a wall at the end, or you could put them on a table and then you can like step back and like look at all the ideas. So that is brain writing. And the next one is mind mapping, which is another great method for generating ideas on paper. But this can be conducted alone. So this, the problem solver starts by writing down one main idea in the center of the paper. And next, you will write additional ideas around on that sheet of paper, circling ideas and connecting the ideas with lines. So this technique allows for representing like a non-linear relationship between ideas. So hopefully these two can kind of help you come up with different ideas. And then next we have handwritten versus digital notes. So although in society we have moved towards digital everything, utilizing digital calendars, apps, Google Docs, to name a few, the idea of stationery has recently made a comeback. And the connection of writing thoughts on paper is good for memory. When something is handwritten, your brain is forced to process the information, which helps you retain that information. However, there are advantages to type notes, such as speed, accuracy, sharing of information, and being able to back up your notes a lot easier and faster. So it's clear that both methods have their benefits. So handwritten notes force your brain to mentally engage with the information, improving both literacy and comprehension. And typing notes helps capture information in a much faster rate, right? So both of these are critical to learning. Okay, back to you, Monty.
Thank you. Now, one of the big problems in time management is procrastination. And procrastination, it's a bad habit. We all know that. It slows down your ability to reach your goals and to meet your full potential. So in order to break the habit of procrastination, it's necessary that we understand why we procrastinate. So there's several different reasons, but the big ones are things like not having a clear deadline, inadequate resources that are time, whether time, money, information, whatever it is. You don't know where to begin. Tasks feels overwhelming. There's no passion for doing the work. It's something you don't want to do in the first place. And then fear, right? Fear of failure and even fear of success. What if I actually accomplish this? And now everybody wants to know me. That can be scary for some people. So what we want to do to overcome procrastination is choose and complete important tasks quickly and effectively, because that's the key to success. So prioritizing our tasks first and foremost and finishing them up promptly to improve time management is a key strategy. And then there are some other ways that we can do this. Again, as we mentioned earlier about finding out whether something's really important, maybe it's not that important. So consider if the task is necessary. Now, earlier, I think Kim mentioned 80% of success is showing up. I think that was, what's his name? The director. Woody Allen, was it? Okay. And the 20% is following up. Well, that touches upon a rule that was created by an Italian economist back in 1897 named Wilfredo Pareto. It's also known as the Pareto rule or the 80-20 rule. And what Pareto found out was that 80% of outcomes are produced by 20% of the inputs. In other words, he found out that 80% of the property in Italy, and then he looked into England and every other country, 80% of the property was owned by 20% of the people. Later, as people started to approach other areas of this, banks found out that 80% of their deposits were held by 20% of their customers. Companies started to find out that 80% of their revenue was produced by 20% of their products. So look into this task that you have and figure out, is it really going to give you the bang for the buck, or is it really not worth your time? And if it's not, maybe not do it, or at least put it off. Delegating is another appropriate thing to do when the task isn't necessarily crucial for you. If you're relatively important within a given structure or organization, why are you making the flyers, right? Why are you doing the busy work? Get someone else to make the copies. When we talked about the Eisenhower matrix, if it's important and urgent, do it now. Just avoid procrastination and complete the task first thing in the day if you can, the earliest way to do it. There's a great book out there called Eat the Frog. And any big, ugly task that you have to accomplish, just do it first and get it over with. If a task seems just too complicated or overwhelming, or you're not sure what to do, seek advice. Consult mentors or experts for guidance on starting and completing the task. Google how to approach this thing. If it's big and complicated, another way to do it is to break it down. Divide larger projects into smaller milestones, like we talked about earlier with your goal setting, and then your weekly plans and your daily action items to achieve those, and break it down into milestones and actionable steps. Follow the 15-minute rule, the good old Pomodoro rule. Aim to complete a step in 15 minutes. Just go for it, do it, take a break for 5 minutes, and then do another one. Okay, you'll feel really good when you start accomplishing these things. It's really important to set clear deadlines. These things have to be time-based. Establish deadlines for projects and milestones. And if you want, tell somebody else about it, like your roommate or your parent or whoever, that says, look, I got to get this done by today. And they'll hold you to it. And then remember, reward yourself by celebrating the completed milestones or completed tasks by taking a break, taking a walk, whatever it is. But give yourself a break. It's not just work to work to work to work. Finish something, take a break. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at another technique. It has to do with larger projects, the chunk, block, and tackle approach. Now, large projects can sometimes seem to be so overwhelming that it's difficult to plan it or even think about starting it. So the time management technique is ideal for taking on these big jobs. Simply break down the project into manageable chunks, block off time like we talked about before, right? With the time batching. To work on the project, and then go for it. Tackle it with single-minded focuses. Block everything else out and just take this one piece at a time. Similar to time batching, this process is used for larger, more complicated tasks, like I mentioned. So first, again, chunk it. Break down large projects into specific tasks that can be completed in, 15 to 20 minutes if you can do that. Block out a time on your schedule that you can have set aside where there's no other interruptions. Just don't try to schedule the entire project at once. Just schedule these pieces of it, okay? Block out times to complete it. This should allow you to ignore most interruptions and distractions and focus on just that task. And then tackle it, meaning go for it. Don't think about anything else. Like Tomoko said, put your phone in a drawer, turn it off, right? And just accomplish the task. And once you've completed that, you'll feel such a sense of accomplishment that you'll be gung-ho to go for the next one and the next one. And before you know it, you've completed your project. And remember to reward yourself. I started mentioning that earlier. Effective reward systems are just small, immediate rewards after completing something simple like a study task. Or you can give yourself something larger for completing bigger projects and or the entire goal. Now, I mean, quite honestly, I've had projects that took months to accomplish. And when I said, when this is done, I'm going on vacation. That's a big reward, okay? But if you're just finishing a book or a paper, hey, maybe give yourself a small reward. Take a walk, get something to eat. Clear goals. Okay, so tips for setting the reward system are: set up a clear goal, okay? Know exactly what the part of the task is that needs you to accomplish and what it means when it's over. Use the SMART method to define specific study tasks or milestones that you want to achieve, like finishing a book or paper or completing a practice problem set. Choose an appropriate reward. You're not going to go on vacation after you finish your paper, okay? But select rewards that mean something to you, that are motivating and attainable. Track your progress by using a day planner, calendar, or a simple point system to monitor your progress. Visualize in advance your achievements. Okay. Breaking things up and using variety is important. Rotate through different types. Just don't keep doing the same thing all the time. Every time you finish, you take a walk. After a while, it's not going to be terribly rewarding. And don't always use food. Okay. Do something else. Play with the dog. Watch a silly TV show or something. Listen to a favorite song. TV shows are too long. Be flexible. Adjust your reward system as needed so that you can keep things fresh and it'll keep you motivated. And now I think it's back to Tomoko.
Hey, so let's talk about stress management and self-care. So stress is unavoidable. So if we do not handle it well, it can cause lasting physical and psychological damage. On the other hand, managing stress can combat its negative effect. To begin, let's explore the foundation of a positive, low-stress lifestyle. So this foundation is made up of 3 building blocks: diet, sleep, and exercise. So no stress reduction program will be successful in the long term unless you have this solid foundation. So you're gonna want to start with eating properly. So sticking to healthy diet is key to managing stress. Giving your body the proper fuel will give you the energy you need to battle the harmful effects of stress. So remember, garbage in, garbage out. The second one is sleeping well. The average person needs 7 hours and 18 minutes for a good night's sleep, but the majority manages only 6 hours and 40 minutes. That doesn't sound like a big difference, but over the course of the year, that's about 230 hours of sleep depth, which interferes with your daily activities and coping with stressors. Okay, lastly, exercising regularly. So exercise makes you stronger and therefore more resilient to stress. Exercise helps clear your mind, reducing the harmful effects of stress. And exercise can help you work out the negative emotions that can result from stress, such as anger and frustration. And exercise can also give you time alone to think through stressful situations. So if you're having trouble finding time to exercise, you could take a walk at lunch, take the stairs instead of the elevator, parking far away from where you're going, and stand when talking on the phone or using your computer. So remember, diet, sleep, and exercise are all lifestyle changes. Start slowly, build your commitment steadily, stay positive and focused, and you got a recipe for success. Okay, self-care. So me time is essential to a person's health and well-being. Often people think that me time is a day at the spa or something else extravagant that they cannot afford to do. But actually, me time is much simpler. It is anything that you can do just for yourself. So there's no set expense or time frame that you have to follow when taking me time. So it can be simple as taking a walk. The only imperative concerning me time is that you actually take it. So self-care is the practice of taking care of yourself, both physically and emotionally. It can help you reduce stress, feel more confident, and have more energy. And good examples are stretches, going for a walk, yoga, deep breathing, meditation, and these are all free. Okay, so reflection and continuous improvement. Time audits. So time audits is a process that helps you understand how you spend your time and how to improve your time management. It can help you identify time wasters, prioritize tasks, and create a more productive schedule. So how do we do that? So set goals, define what you want to achieve with your time audit, track your time, record how you spend your time throughout the day. Number 3, analyze your data. Look for patterns and inefficiencies. Number 4, identify time wasters. Find activities that don't contribute to your goals. Number 5, prioritize tasks. Focus on activities that are most important. Number 6, create a schedule. Establish routines to help you maximize your productivity. Okay, so how does reflection help you to improve? So reflection helps you to internalize information by connecting your current experiences and observation with your prior knowledge. So bridging gaps in your understanding leads to deeper learning, new insights, and broader perspective, which will help you continuously improve. Okay, so this is a quote from the brain coach, Jim Quick. So he helps celebrities and even presidents memorize their scripts. So how you do anything is how you do everything. So this highlights the profound connection between small actions and larger habits. So he suggests that the care and attention you bring to simple tasks, like making your bed in the morning, can reflect your overall discipline and pride in your work. So how you do anything is how you do everything. So remember that when you're working on your paper and you don't have time, you kind of want to rush it through, but remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. It applies to everything in your life. Okay, back to you, Kim.
Okay, the power of focus. So now we're going to be switching gears from effective time management and talk about different memory techniques that we can use. So the first one is brain power. So single task versus multitask. As Tomoko mentioned, Jim Quick is a renowned expert in brain performance and learning, and he emphasizes that the human brain is not designed for multitasking, as it can only focus effectively on one task at a time. When we attempt to multitask, we're not actually doing multiple tasks simultaneously, but instead our brain rapidly switches between tasks. And this process is known as task switching. And this can dilute focus, increase cognitive load, and significantly reduce efficiency and productivity. So this means that while multitasking might seem like the way to go to get more done, it often leads to errors, slower task completion, and mental fatigue. By concentrating on one task at a time, individuals can fully engage in their mental resources, enhance their quality of work, and achieve better results in less time. So again, remember the Pomodoro technique. You want to focus on one task at a time, finish that one task, and then move on to something else. Okay, next is focus on the first 60 to 90 minutes of your day. So Jim Quick advises dedicating the first 90 minutes of your day to the most important tasks, leveraging the brain's natural peak in focus and cognitive ability during the morning. So this period is often referred to as the golden hour. And this is when your mind is freshest, making it the ideal time to tackle challenges or high priority work that requires deep concentration and creativity. So by structuring your day in this way, you align your most productive mental state with the tasks that matter the most, maximizing efficiency and effectiveness. So this approach not only helps you accomplish meaningful goals, but it will also set a positive tone for the rest of your day. Okay, back to you, Marty.
Monty, you're muted.
Thanks for sharing that. Sorry, guys. I said, now we're going to dig in a little bit more to what Jim Quick has been talking about as we get into a hack for studying, specifically using some of his techniques for studying. And the method is called the FAST method. Jim Quick's memory technique uses 4 steps to help you better retain and recall information. By using the FAST method, you can improve not only how well you remember information, but how quickly you can retrieve it when it's needed. It's a holistic approach that combines focus, engagement, emotional connection, and teaching, remember, similar to the Feynman technique, making memory retention more effective and sustainable. So the FAST technique stands for forget, active, state, and teach. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about each step. First, it sounds strange, but first to bring more information into your brain that you can contain it, you want to forget some of the stuff that you think you already know. Like, in other words, keep an open mind. So to learn something new, let go of distractions and what you think you know about the subject, and this will clear some space for you to get fresh ideas. Clear your mind, because an open mind will help you learn better. One way to do this is write down anything that's distracting you. Basically, it's like a brain dump. By writing it down, you get it out of your head, and this opens up more space. One thing he said was, think about it. Your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. Okay. The other step, A, is active. Okay. Learning works better when you're engaged in the process. So don't just sit there and have, try and soak it in by listening to it. Take notes, ask questions, summarize in your own head what you've been learning. Try and use your own words to make it more relevant to yourself. Jot down ideas on how you might use what you're learning in a real life scenario. Um, Basically, as he says, learning is not a spectator sport. All right. Get involved, get in there. And the S is for state, as in state of mind. Your mood and energy levels matter. If you're tired or stressed or hungry, it's harder to learn. Okay. So try to study when you're feeling good. And if you're not feeling good, take a break, do some jumping jacks, take a walk, play with a dog, whatever it is, but get yourself in a better mood that you're ready to absorb more information. He mentions listening to a favorite song, grab a snack, something like that. And finally, teach. Similar to what Feynman said earlier, remember? The best way to remember something is to teach it to somebody else. By teaching it to somebody else, you really have to know the material. So explain what you're learning to someone who doesn't know it, either a child or maybe a roommate or something, and it'll really help it stick in your mind. Okay, these steps are easy to practice, and you can learn them fast, and you can remember and retain your information immediately. You can start by just trying one or two of these steps with any given subject matter. Try to forget something, get active, write down notes about it, see how you feel, right? And then try and share it with somebody else. Back to you, Tomoko.
Hey, so let's talk about the power of morning routine. So win the morning, win the day. Starting your day with intention and a solid morning routine can set the tone for a productive and fulfilling day. So instead of reacting to external distractions, creating consistent habits build positive momentum and helps avoid decision fatigue. So here are some effective morning practices. Make the bed. Start with small win that builds positive momentum. When you return to your bed at night, you're reminded of your success. Hydration and nutrition. Begin with a glass of water and healthy breakfast to fuel your body and mind. Breathing. So practice deep breathing to oxygenate your body and brain. Meditation. Center yourself with mindfulness or breathing exercise to reduce stress. And move your body. So this is not an exercise. Just move your body. Engage in physical activity like taking a walk, stretch, or do crunches. And it boosts blood flow, improves your mood, and prepares you for the day. And another one you can do is gratitude journaling. Reflect on what you're thankful to cultivate positivity. And plan your day. So you can write down 3 personal and 3 work or class related tasks to focus your energy and goals for the day. And consistency is key. Find the rituals that resonates with you, stick with them, and create momentum for a productive and intentional day. Okay, back to you, Kim.
Okay, so the next technique we're going to talk about is Jim Kwik's speed reading technique. So the first thing is to reduce the subvocalization. Now, subvocalization is when you hear each word in your head as you read it, which slows you down. Kwik suggests reducing the habit of focusing on each individual word and focus more on phrases, which helps speed up the comprehension and reading speed. Next, he suggests using your finger as a guide. Moving your finger along the page while you read can improve your focus, keep you, focused on what you're reading, and then speed up by reducing distractions and guiding your eyes to the next word. And then next he has previewing your text. So before you dive into like a new text or a new chapter, Jim recommends previewing it first by scanning headings, subheadings, or key phrases. And this will help prime your brain for what to focus on next and help you improve your retention. And then at the end of this workshop, we're also going to post links, and Jim Kwik has a really good YouTube video on this as well, and it goes into a little bit more detail. So we'll post it in the chat after. Okay, so the next technique is the 3 R's for studying. Okay, which is review, repetition, and recall. So Jim Kwik emphasizes this 3R technique, which is a powerful approach to help you study more effectively and retain information longer. So the first one is review. So after you learn something new, review it within the first 24 hours. And this helps your brain reinforce the material and keep it fresh in your memory. So you want to think of it like watering a plant. The sooner you nourish the roots, the stronger the plant will grow. So how do you do this? You want to set aside a few minutes at the end of the day to skim through your notes or highlight key points or summarize the material in your own words. Next is repetition. So you want to repeat what you've learned, and this is crucial for transferring it in your mind from short term to long term. And the key is spaced repetition. So reviewing the material multiple times, but spacing it out over days, weeks, and even months. And this method works because your brain strengthens the neural connections each time you revisit the material, especially after allowing enough time for it to settle. So how do you do this? You want to use tools like flashcards or spaced repetition apps like Anki is a good one, or create a study calendar to revisit material at regular intervals, kind of as like a reminder to come back to it. And then next is recall. And this is actively testing yourself as one of the best ways to solidify what you've learned. By recalling information without looking at your notes, you strengthen your memory and identify areas that needs to be worked on more, so you have more focus to. And you can do this by quizzing yourself with flashcards or practice questions. You could teach the material to a friend or a study group. And you can also try brain dumping, which is writing down everything you remember about the topic and then check your notes after to see maybe what you missed or maybe if you got something incorrect. It's a way of double checking your work. And why this works is it's reviewing helps you lock in that new information. And repetition strengthens, again, that neural pathway that stores your knowledge. And recalling the information builds confidence and helps you focus on maybe your weak spots or what you have to focus on more. Okay, back to you, Monty.
So another one of Jim Quick's techniques, and this is actually pretty amazing, speed learning and memory mastery. This is, as Jim Quick says, anybody can learn anything as long as you have the right tools. So this tool is called chunking information and creating a memory palace. Now, to create a memory palace, Quick uses a technique that uses visualization, association, and chunking. Remember, we talked about that earlier, grouping information into smaller, more manageable units to make learning more effective. With this technique, you can associate information with vivid mental images and locations. This method helps with memorization and recall, especially for complex subjects. So let's talk about this. Chunking information. Remember the chunk, block, and tackle method we mentioned earlier, where we were breaking down big projects into more manageable parts and blocking off the time to take the action steps necessary to tackle a task. Well, here we're going to break down large amounts of information into small digestible chunks to make learning more manageable and efficient. Then we're going to build something called the memory palace to recall that information quickly and easily. This is especially useful when studying for exams, okay? So once you break down the information or you're going through your notes and you've got these chunks of information that you need to remember, you're going to associate the information with memorable mental images of locations. Now, there's a great video on YouTube. I suggest you Google it, Jim Quick Mental Memory Palaces. But what he does is he uses walking into his office as an example of going from the parking lot to the entrance of the building, to the elevator, to the hallway, and ultimately into his office. And then once he has these locations, which he knows, right? They're vivid in his mind. He associates a piece of the information with each of those places. So parking in the parking lot will bring up a certain amount of certain aspect of what you're trying to study for a test. And then you get out of the car and you go to the entrance of the building, and there's the next piece of information you need. Then you go into the entrance and you go to the elevator, and there's the other piece of information. I tried this and it really works. It's absolutely amazing. So basically, by mentally walking into your office or walking into your home or whatever it is that you're comfortable using, you can recall the information that you placed in each of these places. It's an amazingly effective technique, and I strongly suggest you look at the video and use this for your next test. Back to you, Tomoko.
Okay, so let's talk about managing energy, not just time. So energy management, managing your energy is just as important as managing your time. So energy levels directly impact your focus, productivity, and ability to learn effectively. So when you're energized, you can accomplish more in less time with greater focus. So today I'm going to introduce to you one of the designing your life activities developed at Stanford University, energy mapping. So this is where we need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. So what is energy mapping? So energy mapping is a tool to help you analyze how different activities throughout your day impact your energy levels. By tracking your activities and noting whether they energize you or drain you, can identify patterns and make intentional adjustments. So this approach helps you focus on activities that give you energy, minimize or reframe activities that deplete your energy. And it can also create a daily schedule that aligns with your natural energy flow. So by understanding your energy patterns, you can design a more balanced and fulfilling day, enhancing both your productivity and well-being. Okay, so this is what the energy map looks like. So you see on the left hand, you see the vertical line that says energy. The top is the plus, and if you go down, it's the minus. So the draining and activities will go on the lower half. The top half, it will be more of the energizing, energy-giving activities. And then what you want to do is you're going to look into your typical day within a week. So the left side could be more in the morning, and the right side would be towards the evening or night. So it shows up chronologically in your typical week. Okay, so let's go through some of these activities throughout your day. So we're going to think about the activities in our lives that are energy giving and activities that are energy draining. So I want you guys to pull out your phone or your journal or agenda calendar and look over your schedule for the last few days and jot down your typical daily activities. So as I look at my typical week, here are some that spring to mind. So I exercise, walk the dog, reading assignments for classes, work, driving, in-person class, online classes, house chores, meal prep, class assignments, and emails. Okay, so with this energy map, I'm gonna put all of these, locate activities and locate them where they show up. So note how much energy I gain or lose as I go about engaging in this activity. Okay, so you can see when I'm walking the dog, it's energy giving. It's outside. I like to go for a walk first thing in the morning. Work email, energy draining. Online classes, in between. Lunchtime, I love eating. It's energy giving. Traffic, not so much. So it's in between. Homework, house chores, reading assignments. So these are on computers. So it's a little bit more energy draining, and movie night with ohana is energy giving. So I want you to get your piece of paper and draw this chart, and I will give you 3 minutes so you can work on your energy map. Okay, start now. So difference between physical and mental energy. So you can think about both, but more about mental energy. Is it draining for you? So think about mental energy. Is it draining or energy giving? Think about mental. Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Time is up. So that was a short 3 minutes, but let's go ahead and see what it looks like. So here, this is my chart, okay? As I explained earlier, work email and reading assignments, online classes. So if you see anything below the bar, that's because I don't like to be behind computers. So that drains my energy a little bit. So today I'm standing up. I'm doing this workshop standing up, and that gives me energy because I can move my body and it's not like just sitting and located in one place. So you can think about what changes you can make to kind of boost your energy. And we're going to talk about incremental changes. Set the bar low and clear it. So the key in designing your life is making small, manageable changes to improve balance and energy. And life isn't always optimizable, but with flexibility and awareness, we can build resilience and focus on what matters. Okay, so let's review strategies to boost energy and balance. So reprioritize. So focus on what truly matters in this moment to maximize energy and impact. Resequence activities. So adjust the order of tasks to balance energy, like following draining activities with energizing ones. So I might whisk a matcha tea right after like a meeting, and that gives me energy. Reframing. So there are things that you cannot change, so you just have to reframe it. So change how you view the task and make it feel less draining and more energizing. 2-for-1 activities, pair activities like walking with loved one, or I like to do is like driving and practicing my chant, meleoli, things like that. Compromise and defer, prioritize what's essential and delay less urgent commitments when needed. And sometimes you just have to say no. Time box. Set the time limits for tasks to prevent them from becoming endless. Change locations or tools. A fresh environment or new tools like walking meetings or audiobooks can boost energy and motivation. And lastly, change people. Some people we cannot change. So, we just got to reframe in that case, but surround yourself with energizing people and balance time with those who may drain you. The goal isn't perfection. It's making small, intentional changes that lead to big improvements in how you feel and function. Okay, so in your chart engagement map, I want you to notice the pattern and see what energizes you and what changes you can make in your map, on your map. So I'll give you a short, maybe a minute or two for you to look into your map. Okay. And I know we're at 1 o'clock right now, but take a look at these incremental changes and what can you do to change your engagement map for your week or day. And we are recording this webinar, so we will give you a link to this recording after this workshop. Okay, so now How was it? What did you learn today? Okay, back to you, Kim.
Okay. So for the sake of time, we can kind of just, hopefully you guys, something stuck out. Either you learned something new about yourself today, or maybe there's a technique that we discussed that really struck you and will help you. But for the sake of moving on, we're going to kind of bypass this sharing slide. But again, hopefully something resonated with you. And then leave you with a quote: "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And this proverb is by Lao Tzu, and it highlights all achievements start with small incremental actions, and it underscores these three principles, such as start small. You want to break down goals into manageable steps and make them less intimidating. And then take initiative. Progress begins with the first action, not endless planning. And then build momentum. So each small step fuels confidence and forward movement. And then persist through challenges. Dedication and perseverance are essential for overcoming obstacles. And then focus on the present. Stay grounded in immediate action rather than being overwhelmed by your distant goals. So this timeless wisdom reminds us to embrace the journey one step at a time to achieve our success. So thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming. And remember, 80% of success is showing up. So thank you all for showing up today. And again, we'll put in the chat our different links that we have that I mentioned earlier. And before you guys go, if you guys can complete a survey for us, just so we have an idea of what you guys might be interested for future workshops. Yeah, and again, thank you guys so much for coming.